everyone, and welcome to episode 327 of Sold with Updike. Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today we have a great house at 3715 Rockdale Drive. This is over in northwest Dallas, and it is brand new construction, and I really like it. And I'm going to hold it.
House.
It is a cool house. I'm holding it open on Saturday from 10 to 12. Yes, Saturday from 10 to 12, it will be open. Swing by and say hi.
Cool home.
And in the second half?
And in the second half, we're going to talk about some of the lawsuits that are going on in the real estate industry right now. They're all just they're starting to make national news, and so we just wanted to. There are a couple of little components that we want to talk about, like all the detail.
We're not going to grind it out, but we're going to tell you how it could affect you and your property. So that's definitely worth a reason to checking out. One of the things that we like to do is actually highlight a specific zip code and tell you a little bit about what's happening in that market. And since Rockdale is in 75220, we're going to take a look at that zip code right now.
So the criteria that we're using for this week is single-family homes, townhouses. This is all price points, 75220 zip code. This includes both resale and new construction, because there is a lot of new construction like the one we're looking at in this. And we'll just jump into it.
So currently there are 70 homes that are active on the market. And this is an increase from December. Not a great increase, but I think it's only 5. This actually translates, 70 homes is going to roughly translate to 3.9 months worth of inventory, which is further translates into 73 days on the market.
And just to clarify days on market, this is always questionable, even for us.
We had to look it up.
We had to go back and refresh, because it does change occasionally, but the way that our MLS and most MLS can count days on market now is from the date it goes on the market until the date it changes status.
Correct.
Now, when you look at something in MLS and it's under under a contract status, we still see days on market continue to count. Mm-hmm. But when it closes, the system goes back and puts in the correct number of days on market, from day on market to day under contract.
And it is one of the things that everybody asks when we're showing homes. Mm-hmm. How many days have it been on the market?
And in January, there were 40 new homes that came on the market, compared to only 10 in December in this zip code. 12 homes sold in January with an average sales price of $1,094,000. And that was really high for this zip code. And so we went back and looked at the detail on it. There are 2 homes that, one sold at 2.3 million, one sold at 7.7 million. Mm-hmm. In January in this zip code. So it's really kind of skewed that number a little bit higher than it normally should be.
And to kind of extend that is that the range of the homes that sold were 215,000 up to 7.2 million, as Jeff said, was the high. So that is a huge swing. That is also why we didn't present the data for the median, because the median and the average were nowhere near each other. It's just because this number is so wild. But this is one of the things that I like to point out, why you have to be careful with clickbait and marketing, because it's not always just in the title. You have to drill down into the data. And so that's one of the things that we like to point out, is that one of the things we love to do for our clients is to help them actually get into the data and actually know what they're doing. So if they're looking at a zip code, a school district, if there's just a neighborhood that they want to buy as an investment or for a mother, these are the ways that we really help them make the best decisions.
Yeah.
And sometimes that great home is just way overpriced, and it could sell for this price, but in 2 years, are they going to be able to sell it for what they paid for it? And we're seeing that a little bit right now.
Yeah.
So
people that bought at the peak of the market 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and maybe 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
And are having to sell, or
there's that
sometimes there's a little struggle getting it out of it, breaking it even.
The one that jumps in my head is the one that was on Cinderella that is not probably going to sell for what she paid for it in the heat. All right, so let's jump in and let's talk a little bit about 3715 Rockdale Drive. This is a great house, and it is in a great area.
So one of the first single family homes I lived in, and this was back in the late 80s, is about 3 blocks away from this house.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to live almost 50-50 between Jeff and I. This is exactly where you'd pick.
It is.
I'm to the north, Jeff is to the south. One of the great things about is the east-west connectors that you have. So you've got both Northwest Highway, Walnut Hill, and Royal, and up to Forest that really help you get both from 35 to the toll road and all the way into 75. So these are really important feeders, but there's also a lot that happens north and south.
And there's a couple of things that locals love. If you're wanting to do a semi-private flight to somewhere like Las Vegas, or JSX is at Love Field, and I have never taken JSX. I have friends that have taken JSX. They are smaller, plush planes that is a different experience than flying commercial like we do.
You don't go through the terminal. It's not as, I don't know what the correct word for it is, but it's a lot quicker boarding. It's a lot logistically more seamless. One of the other things too, though, that is jumping out at me for this kind of like semi-private is the Vaughn Lane. And the Vaughn Lane also takes off from left field. This is a luxury bus. These are what first class seats wish they were. There is a stewardess on as well, Wi-Fi, there's a bathroom, they serve drinks. I was looking at this because my aunt is thinking about taking it possibly this spring to go to Tulsa. But it's really just a great way as a business professional to really be able to have great work time.
And if you're going somewhere like Austin or Houston or Oklahoma City, if you think about the amount of time that you're going to spend getting ready for the airport, going to the airport, going through the line at the airport, with Vaughn Lane, you jump on the bus, and if you're there 5 minutes before it leaves, within 3 hours you're in Austin, or 3 hours you're in Houston.
And as you pull into Austin, you order your Uber, so you go directly from here to your next destination. Anyway, these are great things.
Yeah.
One of the other things too, this is one of my favorite places, is Lover's Seafood. So if you're in the area, this is a great locally owned restaurant. It's like an Americana seafood. So they still have the lobster roll. It's got really good ceviche. This is one of my favorite things to do, is actually go here, sit at the bar and have dinner. I don't know why.
I've only been here a couple of times, so I don't. I hear everybody tells you how great this is, and I don't know why I haven't gone here more. But
you know what the funniest thing is? This is such a local location that when you make reservations, you can clarify which table and which section you'd like to sit in. And
it makes sense.
We got there one time and did not clarify, and we got the table by the front door, and it was cold. So, yeah.
Anyway. This location used to be Rex's Seafood.
It did.
Which was a very, very popular seafood restaurant. So I think that they've really ridden the coattails, and not in a bad way, but just they kind of had a built-in crowd that loved them. And so when they opened as Lover's Seafood, they didn't have to go through a lot of gyrations a lot of normal place would.
Correct. Also out there,
Toyota Music Factory. If you're into live music, this is a really great place to see a concert. This is I would say a medium-sized venue. There is everywhere in the world to eat right there around this. So you can definitely make an entire date out of this, of going to drinks at one place, stepping over somewhere else and having dinner, going somewhere else or going to Toyota Music Factory for the concert, and then coming back out and having the nightcap before you call the Uber to head home.
The backfill on this was incredible, because when it first started, it was not so substantial.
I agree.
And now it is great.
And a couple of other things that are really in the neighborhood around Rockdale that I wanted to point out, and I'll get Zach the things to it. Metro Taco is a really great small neighborhood taco place that they work very hard to take care of you. It's really wonderful. There is also the La Mexicana, I can't have trouble saying it, the grocery store. Right there at Walnut Hill and Marsh.
It's not El Rancho, the one that I go to?
El Rancho. Sorry, it is El Rancho. I was confusing it with the other one. Yeah, but El Rancho has some of the best produce in the entire city.
You can always get your avocados ripe there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which makes me really question why everybody else is coming in raw. But I shop there all the time. I do their meat counter. I do their barbacoa. I do their raw tortillas.
Barbacoa is really good for a hangover, isn't it? Anyway,
And they have the best hot green sauce ever.
they do. It's
it'll burn you.
There's so much around this. Weston put these three together, and they all make sense. But it was like, gosh, it's hard to narrow down just because there's so much good there.
All right, so let's jump into this and let's take a look at 3715 Rockdale. So this is brand new construction, and this is a really great combination of materials where they've used the black stucco, the vertical wood, and then also stone. So these complement very well, and they create both modern but have like the nod to the traditional, so it's an easier way. One of the things that I am a sucker for is a iron and glass pivot door. Welcome to the pivot door. I don't think that every door has to be a double, but I do like that you have panes on either side, and it opens up to this really great hallway.
And you've got a really pretty welcoming tile as you come in, hardwood floors throughout the rest of the first floor. This is the office study just off of the front door to the left, and really very light, very bright, high ceilings, just a really great room to work in.
So this is the bathroom that actually is, they've expanded and not given it just a half bath, but it's a full bath, so it actually makes that office have flexibility that it could work as both your fifth bedroom when you come in and open up this giant family room that has ceilings to the second floor. It's a very good combination that we see right now where it goes dining room, kitchen, living room. It works perfectly. They've done some really good architectural elements and continued the mix of materials that you see here, both with stone, wood. It's just easy. And I love the fact that may show up a little bit gray in here, but it's more of a taupe.
Yeah.
They don't do the agreeable gray everywhere in this house.
The double fridge, or I'm sorry, the big built-in fridge, refrigerator on half, freezer on the other half. You've got the double oven, convection oven, excuse me. Nice bar, lots of space there. I always feel like you can tell when they skimp on the bar space because you can only get 4 chairs.
Right.
This one you can get 5 easily, and probably even 6 if you wanted to scooch them together.
I like the way that they also did all the light fixtures. The light fixtures here are well thought out. They're not too trendy, which would fade away, but these are all nice. Cabinets up top. I like the black trim as well. It just kind of adds a little bit of a masculine finish. What we see here is this is a really good, smart move on using the dining space. So we don't have like this space plus another dining space. This is large enough that it can seat 8 to 10 if you'd like, but you can see here they've done a great job with just 6. Lots of windows as well, so this also opens up to the backyard. Also, this is master down.
And it really makes a lot of sense with location. You've got access out to the backyard. You've got these really big windows there, super high ceilings on this floor.
Yeah.
The chair rail, I think, does really fits very nicely in this room. I think when we turn around, you see that well, anyway, the back wall was also done that way, which I thought kind of matched that.
So I feel like they've thought out and did an entire appliance package because, again, we're seeing similar faucets that we saw in the kitchen and the other bathrooms. This is a really smart way that we see more and more of these going with the sculptural tub, the separate shower. They've done more of a wet area, as you see the way that they've done that tile on the wall behind the tub as well. One of the things that I'm going to take a minute and keep going, but they've done a great job with what we're going to see as far as the master closet to the utility room.
Yeah.
We were there and we were talking to another one of the agents, and it's a really smart, functional way. This has one side, but there's also a second side to this that's as nice as this. I feel like builders are figuring out the importance of closets in Dallas at a level that we haven't seen prior. This one also, I first saw this up in the suburbs, but they opened this master closet into the utility room, which is also downstairs. But this utility room has room for both a fridge, beverage fridge, a dry area, a sink, and then the washer and dryer. I thought that it was, and I don't want to get like, oh, I'm so excited about utility room, but this is the way that they should be done.
And this is the game room. When you go upstairs, you have a little bit of a landing, but then you come into this room. You have the small kitchenette area, beverage fridge, wet bar, cabinetry on the wall for all your drink glasses. That room was plenty big enough to have the TV, the media, full media room set up.
So backyard, this is really great because it did board on board with the cap. Plenty of room for a pool. So this is 3715 Rockdale. It's a 5-bedroom, 5 full, 2-car garage built in 2015. It's just over 4,300 square feet and it's priced at
$1,499,000.
So this is a great house in a really great area. I want to say thank you so much to Ryan Strife and also to Valerie Dillon for allowing us to feature this home. Again, it'll be open on Saturday, yes, Saturday, from 10 until noon. I think that'll be an interesting time because we also have the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday, and I just don't think backing up to the Super Bowl is going to be the best idea.
I don't think so either. The party we're going to starts at 3 o'clock.
So have you heard that like one of the most called out days in the nation is Monday after the Super Bowl?
Doesn't surprise me.
Good look. But I mean, are people really that excited about the Super Bowl? Or is it just because it's like, we just got to watch it to watch it?
I think we're just going to watch it. I think it depends on where you live. I mean, if you're in Seattle, you are probably so into this Super Bowl.
But it's so funny because I don't feel like when I think of like football, I don't think of Seattle. I don't, like Texas loves football. OU loves all kinds of football, high school, college, all of it. I mean, up there, they're like, yeah, we got a team. Okay. That's just my take on it. I could be completely wrong. If you're Seattle, let me know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure.
It'll be interesting.
So in our second segment today, we're going to do something different that we don't normally do, and we're going to talk about a lawsuit that's going on, and it's a federal lawsuit in federal court between two big companies in our marketplace, and it is a lawsuit where Compass has sued Zillow, and Zillow has sued Compass, and we've kind of sat here and talked about what is the point in all of this, and I think
it's a struggle.
Because the lawsuit itself it's just two people.
Does it have merits, or is it just a bunch of pissed off? Is it two pissed off companies with no merit and they're just angry at each other?
I think in most ways, yes. I think it's two big companies that think they want to control the real estate industry that are fighting over something. And what they're fighting over is what we've talked about before, which are pocket listings.
Like, are they worth it or are they not worth it?
Yeah.
You and I always argue the fact that, like, if we kept something exclusive inside of our office, then that's assuming that all of our agents know all of the buyers that are coming here and their needs. And that's not possible. And so there's an entire group of buyers that are coming into this state, as we know in the news, they're coming in all the time, that are not seeing our product. And our clients, therefore, are we doing the best fiduciary that we sign up for when we represent them?
I think there are certain environments and experiences where a pocket listing or an off-market listing makes sense. If you've got a high wealth individual that has security concerns and they don't want their house listed in MLS and they don't want to have the big broad exposure because the potential buyer pool is this big.
Yeah. That's true.
There are those instances where that makes sense, but
for the greater market,
I don't, and I don't.
So we've got this situation where Compass puts their office exclusives, hip pockets, on their site, and because they're not allowing Zillow then to actually broadcast them on Zillow's platform, Zillow has turned around and said, you have one day and one day only.
From the day you start marketing
the property. And after that, if you then turn it live, for lack of a better term, we're not going to put it on our site.
And Compass has tried to do end runs around this where they would list a piece of property as a private listing with agent A, and then when they actually put it in MLS, they would have agent B be the listing agent on it.
Yeah.
And thinking that could kind of get around that
the workaround.
Yeah, but Zillow's taken a very hard stance of if we find out you have marketed that for one day before you give us the data, we're not going to put the data on our site at all.
And I think we're getting into that gray area, like property rights. Like, don't I have my decision of who, when, and where?
That's the big thing that I see in all
You're
this
taking
that
it away
nobody's
from
talking about.
So it is a very interesting. We're going to keep our eye on this because I don't feel like this will be resolved quickly. I think that there's enough money on both sides to throw at this. Feelings have been hurt.
Yeah, when you got two companies, I just looked this up because I wanted to make sure I said it correctly. When you have two companies of that size that over the last 10 years, neither one have made a negligible profit. They have had, 400 million in losses, 800 million in losses annually.
And they're still trucking.
And they're still fighting with each other. It's like, oh gosh, are you in the real estate business or are you? Are you not?
It seems like it's like Compass doesn't want Zillow to get too big, and Zillow's like, you're going to give me that information. You can't bogart that and not share it. If I'm going to advertise, you're going to give me everything to advertise.
Yeah, Zach was making the perfect point, which is that Zillow's a private entity. They have a set of services that they want to offer, and they want to offer those services with specific rules around them. And Compass doesn't like that. They don't like the specific rules that this private company has put. So it's
talk about rules and whatnot. Zillow can't even get an IDX feed because they won't agree to the rules for that information from our MLS. So it's like, well, you won't agree to ours, and so now it's a lot going on right now.
So at the end of the day, what this really means for you is just be very cautious about that conversation that you need to have. If you have it with us, we're going to have it. We hope you have it with us. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of that type of approach, and we want you to be the one that decides to do it, not do it just for us, because I do feel like there is an opportunity of advantage to the listing agent for the home not to go to the full market. I don't think that there's an advantage for the seller in most instances, but I think there is an advantage to the agent and to the broker that I think is sometimes sold to be more to the benefit of the property owner than it really is.
Yeah, I think that if you're interviewing agents, as everybody should, for the listing of their property, and one agent is really like leaning into it, then when you go and visit with your next, you should ask, do you feel this strongly about it?
Or what are your thoughts on it?
Exactly. Because I think you're going to get two strong opinions.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, we hope that was really clear as mud.
Yeah.
But you need to be on top of this because this is going to be something that can affect the real estate markets, which affects all of us.
If you have any questions, call us. As you can tell, we know everything about it.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.